Senhoras e senhores, bem-vindos ao Dia de Portugal New Bedford 2016. O Grande Arraial já começou oficialmente aqui na Acushnet Avenue, na cidade baleeira, e o quanto foi simbólico ver a imagem de Santo António de Lisboa a passar pelo recinto. Santo António que vai ser celebrado na capital portuguesa dentro de alguns dias, com muita animação, sardinha, marchas populares, e é um pouco do que vamos viver ao longo deste fim de semana aqui na cidade de New Bedford. Portanto, muito obrigado à Igreja de Santo António, ao Padre Murphy, por ter cedido durante estes momentos a imagem de Santo António de Lisboa aqui para esta grande festa. Para dar início aqui aos festejos, vamos ouvir a interpretação dos hinos nacionais de Portugal e dos Estados Unidos, começando com a portuguesa. Forte aplauso para a Sociedade Filarmónica Senhor da Pedra, aqui de New Bedford, banda oficial das Ceremonies. Now, to perform the Star Spangled Banner. What a great job. Thank you very much, Banda de Senhor da Pedra, for your continued dedication to our culture and to our community. The entire community appreciates your dedication in preserving our rich culture here in the city of New Bedford. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go on, I think it fitting, and before we call up the president of the festival, to recognize every one of these committee members dressed in red. They worked tirelessly during various months to put all of this together, fundraising efforts, and then during this weekend, they're here giving their time voluntarily to preserve the culture, because they're all proud of being Portuguese, as we should all be. So let's give them a great round of applause for all of their hard work and dedication, not only during the 3-4 days of this event, here in the beginning of June, but throughout the months leading up to this great event. And every great group needs a great leader, and they have found one 7 times in Carlos Pinhanços, the president of Day of Portugal 2016.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the people that you see in front of you, I want to thank you all for being here and participating, because without your support, this couldn't happen. We could plan the best feast in the world, but if you're not here, it's really not a feast. And for that, I thank you. Now, I'd also like to thank some of the people that are standing behind me. Mayor Jon Mitchell and all his city officials, all the city departments that have worked very diligently and patiently with us to make things happen. So thank you very much for all your support. Second, there's a list that is probably a mile long that I won't have time to mention everyone, okay? It takes a lot of participation from everyone. The police department, the fire department, the city council that's behind me. There are numerous amount of people that do a little thing, and that little thing makes this whole festivity come together, okay? Everybody has to pitch in to make it happen. Senhora da Pedra, thank you very much. You're always there for us. You do a great job. I thank you. I want to acknowledge a couple of people on our committee. I have Mike Kudo at the end. He lived here all week. He's the one that's the leader for setting up. Joe Aguiar, my vice president. Angela Amaral, senior advisor. Lucilia. I have Maria. Dulce is our secretary. Mr. Pereira is just our senior. He puts on a great show, and if you'd like some sardinhas, come back. He's the chair of the sardinhas here, so, okay? I have Maria Tomazia, Carlitos, Connie Mimozu, who takes care of the 5K road race on Sunday. I have Eddie Correa, another vice president. And I have Maria Santos at the end that takes care of the carnival. One person that's not here. Oh, I'm sorry, Lourdes. I missed you. Sorry. We also are missing Joe Pereira, who takes care of the golf tournament. That is one of our major fundraisers for this committee. Also, just keep in mind that every little bit that you can do for us, we'd appreciate it. We thank you for all the help. One person that's not in the front line here, but he's been here probably the last 48 hours, Peter Carrero. Can you please raise your hand? He's the man that set it all up, okay? There he is right there. If you need to talk to him, he'll be here Monday morning around 2:30 taking it all down with us, so thank you very much. Again, thanks again for all your help. Please come enjoy the festivities all weekend, and we hope to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carlos, for all of your work and dedication to our culture. And obviously, a great undertaking like this wouldn't be possible without the city's support, and not only of its residents, but of the city's leader. So I'd like to call up to the microphone a great friend of the Day of Portugal festivities, the Mayor of New Bedford, Jon Mitchell.
Boa tarde. Just want to make sure everybody's awake. So listen, I'm here just because I'm such a big fan of the event. I'm a big fan of the sardinhas and the malasadas, more than I care to admit. But it's wonderful to come out every year because this is such an authentic celebration of Portuguese culture, and I really want to commend the Day of Portugal Committee and Carlos in particular for all of your work. People need to know, and I know if you're standing here, you know this. I want folks on TV in particular to know that this is a labor of love, but there's a lot of love, but there's also a lot of labor. It takes months and months of planning and hard work to put this all together, and to pull it off. For people to have fun for 3 or 4 days takes really a real devotion and commitment to the cause, and the cause is an important one. Perpetuating Portuguese culture right here in the capital of the Portuguese community is important for our Portuguese community, but it's also important for our city. And I'm so grateful for all the people who've stepped up reliably year after year to make that happen. So Carlos and the whole committee, I really want to say thanks. I want to say thanks, by the way, of course, to the Senor de Pedro Band. You guys are here every year. You guys are so reliable and play great music. I really appreciate your taking time out of your day to make that happen. But have fun tonight. Have fun this weekend. This is a great, safe event. We have to continue to spread the word. This is a great place to be if you just want to enjoy a slice of Portuguese life here in New Bedford, or in my case, a whole lot of food. Thanks, everybody.
Now, I don't usually do this, but I have a secret talent where I can feel vibes from certain people when they feel that they need to say more. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the president of the Day of Portugal festivities, Carlos Pinhenços.
Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to acknowledge one person that's probably the single most important person of bringing our committee together and bringing the Portuguese community together and all our organizations, okay? We have a council in this city that has been one of the strongest councils we've ever had. And he's united us, and that is the #1 fiber for us in this community, is to be united, to be a united Portuguese community. And for that, please give me a round of applause for Dr. Pedro Carneiro. Thank you.
Told you I was right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also invite to the microphone a great friend of the Portuguese community, because he is part of the Portuguese community. But not only, he's part of the fabric of New Bedford because he has represented this city so well in Boston for many, many years. Ladies and gentlemen, State Representative Tony Cabral.
Boa tarde, bem-vindos. O Koshanevni, né? Bem-vindos, né? Boa tarde. Good evening. It's wonderful to be here once again and really be part of this opening ceremony of the Day of Portugal, the Day of Camões, and the Day of the Portuguese American communities throughout the world, the diaspora. And that's, I think, where we had to focus today, and focus this weekend. It's wonderful to celebrate Camões. It's wonderful to celebrate the Day of Portugal, the National Day of Portugal. But I think most importantly is for us to celebrate us as a community, us as a city, right? Am I right? That's great. Because this is an opportunity for us to showcase our culture, our traditions, our involvement, our contributions to this great city, our struggles and our challenges, but yes, our successes. And I don't have to tell you and give you many examples. I know many of you know how much we have given, how much we have received, and we are grateful for that. And that's part of this weekend, for us to celebrate all those things. As a community, we've been able to give, we've been able to answer the call, and also defend the liberties and the values that we all share, and we all care about being an American. We have many members of this community who have given their lives, the ultimate sacrifice, from World War I to Vietnam to Desert Storm and Iraq and Afghanistan. We've had so many members of this community, not only of New Bedford, but the Portuguese American community, to really give their lives. So we all could be here celebrating this day and this weekend. Just give you 3 examples, if I may, quickly. The first American soldier from New Bedford to die in World War I was a Portuguese American. We have a square in the South End named after him. It's called Goulart Square. Walter Goulart, the first American soldier from New Bedford to die in World War I. Also in the South End, we have a little square called Tiago Reis, or Tiago Reis, a young man who came with his family at the age of 10 and lived on River Street and then was drafted to Vietnam at the age of 20. At the age of 20, he died in Vietnam defending our values and defending those liberties that we enjoy today. And again, and remember, the first American soldier from New Bedford, from Vietnam, to pass away or to die in Vietnam for our liberty and values, an immigrant from San Miguel that came here at the age of 10, at the age of 20, he had died in Vietnam. Again, in Iraq, Sergeant Kamara, from a member of the police force in this city, who passed away, who died also, gave his life, and on the war in Iraq. Once again, it shows, and I can give you more examples of that, but I think those three examples really showcases the sacrifices that all of us, not only Portuguese Americans, but today we're talking about Portuguese Americans and the contribution this community has given to New Bedford and to the state of Massachusetts and to this country. So I think it's important for us to remember those. And if I may ask, let's give a moment of silence, if I may ask, for all of those who are still serving us, serving our country overseas, so we can enjoy this day and this weekend. So give us just a few seconds of silence, if I may, not only for those who are Portuguese American, for all our soldiers overseas. Thank you very much. Obrigado. Vamos celebrar este dia, o dia da nossa cultura, nossa celebração, as nossas contribuições, o nosso sucesso neste país. E temos muitos sucessos. Um deles, vou salientar, o nosso chefe da polícia hoje é New Bedford. Também é luso-americano, nascido dos Açores. Veio para aqui criança. O nosso chefe da polícia, o João Cordeiro. Não é? Portanto, não é só celebrar os nossos sacrifícios, os nossos desafios, mas é bom sabermos celebrar os nossos sucessos. E o João Cordeiro, chefe da polícia, significa parte do nosso sucesso como comunidade. Portanto, um grande obrigado. Viva New Bedford, viva Portugal. Let's have fun this weekend.
Thank you, Representative Cabral. I'd like to recognize the city councilors on stage, and one of these city councilors will be speaking on behalf of the entire council. But we have with us Councillor Naomi Carney, Councillor Ian Abreu, and to speak on behalf of the City Council, a gentleman who was recognized this week during the Day of Portugal festivities at the State House in Boston for all of his great contributions to the community. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Councillor Stephen Martins.
Boa tarde. Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you to Mr. Chairman behind me for nominating me. But those are very strong words that were said by Carlos, the Feast President, our Mayor, our good State Rep, Tony Cabral. And I just want to follow, on behalf of Councillor Abreu, Councillor Carney, and myself, what was said, but try not to repeat. But it's important for us to always recognize the Day of Portugal Feast Committee, who not only work just throughout this weekend, but work day in and day out, 365 days a year to make this festival possible. And it's very hard. It's very hard to raise the funds to make this every single year possible. This is the 19th annual, and it's going very strong. And they deserve a lot of credit to making sure that our Portuguese culture and heritage is well represented right here in the city of New Bedford, and they do a great job of that. And all of us share a story of what the Portuguese culture means to us. To me, personally, and to members of the City Council, when we look at the Senhor de Pé of the band, it reminds us of, when we look at this band, of all different age groups, especially the young people who are playing in this band. To our Portuguese culture, again, everyone has an important story about how they got here, about the challenges, as State Representative Tony Cabral has said. It is our young people that we're going to look at to be the volunteers for the Day of Portugal Committee. It is our young people that we're going to look at to pass on the important traditions and values of our Portuguese culture that our fathers, our mothers, our grandfathers, our grandmothers, our ancestors have worked so hard to make this culture of what it is today, for the better opportunities from our culture. When we look at the young people, it is the young people. It's the same thing that my parents and your parents have said over and over again. We will rely on you to keep the feasts like this going in the city of New Bedford, to keep our culture alive. So that is a message for our young people. Without you and making sure that whether you're volunteering in this band or you're walking through this feast throughout this weekend, it is so important not only to enjoy yourselves, but to also make sure that you listen to the stories from your family members and friends, how important this culture is. To the thousands of people who will be visiting here, the city of New Bedford, throughout this weekend, please make sure that you take advantage of the wonderful restaurants and bakeries and shops along Acushnet Avenue. There is so much history. There's so much Portuguese history here on Acushnet Avenue. And our local businesses are part of that history. They invest here in the city of New Bedford. They're a part of our city, and they work so hard to be here, and they're very excited to be here, especially this weekend, to thousands of visitors. So make sure that you support our local businesses and give them all much love, because I know that it isn't easy for them these days as things are getting more expensive. So I know that they're going to appreciate it this weekend. Lastly, to our public safety officers, thank you very much for keeping us safe. Fire, police, EMS, they work extremely hard. To our city workers who work hard all year around, we thank them very much. To make it official, if Carlos can please come forward and accept this official citation on behalf of Councilor Abreu, myself, Councilor Carney, our City Council President, Linda Morad. We give this citation every single year. It's a small, small token of our appreciation to you, our feast volunteers who work so hard to make this possible. We appreciate from the bottom of our heart. Thank you so much for all that you do. We know that you work hard, and have fun this weekend. When you smell all the great food, when you're drinking your cerveja this weekend, I know that there's a lot of history with that type of food, but again, please make sure that you share your stories and keep our culture alive. It is so important, and thank you very much, and Viva Portugal.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's already been spoken about here on stage, but there's so much to say about him, but we'll resume it to just a few words. A great friend, a man we wish we could have around forever. Unfortunately, it's not possible, but I guarantee his contributions to our community will not stay here. Wherever he goes next, which is not anytime soon, he will also bring his dynamic personality and love for his country with him. Senhoras e senhores, é com enorme orgulho e prazer que apresento um verdadeiro amigo da comunidade, o nosso cônsul de Portugal em New Bedford, Dr. Pedro Carneiro.
Muito boa tarde. Good afternoon, everybody. Speaking last, I think I'm last. It's not easy because some of the things have been said, but there are two things that I have to say again. The first one is to recognize the Sociedade Filarmónica Senhor da Pedra. This year, they celebrate their 25th anniversary. So they're a great band, and I ask you for a round of applause for this great, great band. The second recognition is, of course, to the organizing committee of the Day of Portugal. They, as has been said, they work a lot. I've participated in a few meetings. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, and they are here, standing, organizing these big feasts for all of us. So also join me on a big, big round of applause for them. Yesterday we had a very beautiful ceremony at City Hall yesterday with a nice speaking program and a great crowd. We raised the flag and heard the national anthems, and it was a moving ceremony. It was a beautiful ceremony. And we had also yesterday We were honored by the visit of the Ambassador of Portugal to the United States of America, and also the Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of Portugal. She came, she's a member of the Portuguese government, and she came from Portugal to participate in these celebrations. And this happens simply because the Portuguese living abroad and the Portuguese that live abroad are roughly 5 million people. We have roughly 5 million Portuguese living around the world and 10 million living in Portugal. So that makes a big number. And we recognize, the Portuguese government, the Portuguese authorities recognize the importance of the Portuguese communities. And yesterday, with the coming of the member of the government, the Secretary of State, we wanted to recognize at the highest level the importance of the Portuguese communities abroad. And let me also mention that today, June 10th, the Day of Portugal, for the first time in recent times, the President of the Republic, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, celebrated the Day of Portugal in Lisbon, and then he went to Paris, France, and he celebrated the Day of Portugal with the Portuguese immigrants living in France. And this also, in my view, symbolizes and is a recognition of the importance of all of you, the Portuguese living abroad. What you represent, what you show, what you are, and the image of Portugal that you portray. All of this is very, very important. Let me just say in Portuguese, também para concluir, que a minha experiência aqui como cônsul de Portugal nos últimos 3 anos tem sido extraordinária. Eu tenho podido verificar a dinâmica e a força e o carisma da comunidade portuguesa nesta região. Tem sido uma experiência para mim e para a minha família muito, muito forte e muito intensa. E ver como a comunidade portuguesa marcou e marca New Bedford e a região é a prova da força e do caráter dos portugueses. E no dia 2, no dia de Portugal, em que temos a bandeira de Portugal aqui e a bandeira dos Estados Unidos ao lado, é o dia em que celebramos estes valores comuns, valores que Portugal e a América celebram. E hoje, no dia de Portugal, todos nós, americanos, portugueses, todos nós somos portugueses neste dia. E, portanto, pensando nisso e pensando na força que esta simbologia das bandeiras, dos hinos, destas celebrações têm, eu gostava que pensassem em Portugal, nos portugueses, nos vossos antepassados, nos antepassados que vieram para este país para ter uma vida melhor. Muito obrigado, um excelente dia de Portugal, umas grandes celebrações, divirtam-se e viva Portugal. Muito obrigado.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the feast president, Carlos Pinhanços, mentioned earlier, a lot of support is needed for these festivities to become a success and to happen here on the Avenue. Obviously, we couldn't go without a big thank you to many of the committees, the subcommittees that organized events such as the golf tournament, the road race, and the soccer committee. Perfect weather this year permitted for these events to be a success, and their success is also this festival's success. So a great round of applause for all of the support and the hard work and putting those events together. Now to perform, I believe, 2 numbers. We will have the Sociedade Filarmónica Senhora da Pedra. So please stick around, listen to their great talent, youngsters, veterans all coming together for the common cause, which is our great culture. We'll listen to this music, and in just a few minutes, the official festivities will begin. Senhoras e senhores, ainda não finalizamos. Há mais um pormenor que tem que ser aqui esclarecido. É o início oficial destas festas. E para fazer essa declaração, chamo aqui o cônsul Pedro Carneiro para fazer a declaração oficial. Mas antes de finalizar, gostaria só de partilhar uma frase. É quando passamos algum tempo a pensar o que é que leva os portugueses a continuarem a ter tanta paixão, a estar aqui presentes, a dar o seu tempo voluntariamente, a dar continuidade a estas tradições, porque é que nós viemos aqui às nossas festas. Há uma frase de um senhor que vamos reconhecer, e a frase diz assim: que dias há que na alma me tem posto um não sei quê, que nasce não sei onde, vem não sei como e dói não sei porquê. Embora não sabemos o que é e de que nasce e porque é que dói, mas a verdade é que toda essa vontade e o sentimento concretizam festas e grandes manifestações culturais em honra do país que nós adoramos. Portanto, essa frase é de Luís Vaz de Camões, poeta português, padrinho da língua portuguesa, que hoje também celebramos, numa data triste, obviamente, para a família Camões, a morte do poeta português. Também aqui fica reconhecido Luís Vaz de Camões, neste dia onde celebramos Portugal e lembramos o grande poeta. Eu aqui, a olhar pelo público também, gostaria de reconhecer um senhor que durante muitos anos prestou serviço muito ativo a esta comunidade, que é o antigo vice-cônsul de Portugal em New Bedford, o antigo vice-cônsul Canha, que estava aqui presente. Já não o vejo, mas vi há instantes, portanto um bem-aja. Eu já não o vejo há muito tempo e certamente que muita gente na comunidade não o vê. Portanto, senhoras e senhores, passo agora a palavra ao Dr. Pedro Carneiro para dar oficialmente o início a este grande arraial.
Então é com muita honra e com muito prazer que declaro abertas as festas e as celebrações do Dia de Portugal, de Camões e das comunidades portuguesas na cidade de New Bedford. Divirtam-se!